It is now December 16th. It is a Monday. I had just sent the update from Friday from the factory, and this is about 2 weeks on since my last update video. Normally I take them as I'm leaving the shipyard and heading back to the factory. This time I wanted to take one on my arrival, because as I left the last video with everything that was expected to move forward, it's pretty much been done and accomplished in the last 2 weeks. So hopefully now we can see how quickly everything can come together once the hot work is finished and it's turned over to the interior outfitting guys. So when I left last time, I know we were working on the silver installation, which is now fully done on its forward block and in the pilot house, as I will go up there in a second. So this is the master stateroom on the main deck. Another thing we had them do, you saw the door that I was explaining in the patio door. I was explaining in the shipyard on Friday. They've now fully finished welding everything in to receive that. So the door, the block that you saw fits up against here, and then obviously just goes down. But we need that door so we can properly attach the shaft, because there's curvature to this, and obviously the shaft has to be on a straight pivot. So we thought it was best if we waited for the door to come, which our 7-axis robot cut the holes for the masts, so we know they're exactly dead on. So we're actually using the door as a template to mark off where the shafts go. We've already made the seals for the shaft, and then they'll be welded in, and the painters will fare in that block as we operate that foam core up and down. So that's where we are with the door. It's now awaiting for the door's arrival. And as I walk through, we can also see, I'd explained, the next stage was to put the electrical trays in once the insulation got down. So obviously electrical trays are coming in, and then once these are in, we'll let them do all the wire runs and everything on there before we do the plumbing, because the plumbing is very easy and straightforward. As I mentioned, is basically from there we have the installation guys even put a little temporary piece of pipe in there to show the plumbers where underneath the deck drains are. This one I just took out so you can see up here is the deck drain, and in the corner down there will be the plumbing. So basically with the plumbing, once the back section is on, we'll do all of the deck drains at the same time, and basically it's a couple of day job to completely finish the deck drain system. So as I move along, you'll see all kinds of construction stuff going on now, all kinds of interior. The mock-up that you saw on Friday for the cruise quarters, we cut a completely separate one, and this is a duplicate right here, all flat packed, ready to snap together. And all the mock-up, you'll see those for all the 3 destination projects. They'll stay in the shipyard, and we just cut a duplicate right here, and we've got more downstairs ready to get installed. We cut a duplicate and send it to the shipyard. Basically, the reason for that is we do the floor, the walls, and the ship side as duplicate, and we cut I call them the boxes for the furniture, which is the raw box, and that will be part of the mock-up as well. So we'll have all of those boxes stay in the mock-up, and we'll cut a duplicate. But then we use the boxes to do the finish wood and all the finished upholstered panels and parts knowing then that once they're fit up in the mock-up in the factory and we ship them here, because it's identical, it will just basically snap together again, all the finish on the furniture. So that's why we build the mock-up and we leave it there in the factory. So you can see the wire trays going in here, and all of they did a wonderful job on all of the installation work. And also go up to the pilot house. You can see again, we've got all the insulation. Christmas is coming. It kind of looks like Christmas wrapping, but it's insulation with a vapor barrier on it. So, pilot house. The exterior painter guys have been very, very busy. We've started all the fairing on this area, and you'll start to see as the fairing is actually going to be minimal up here because the metalwork was really good. So the shape, they're not basically reshaping everything, they're just making the lines more crisp and the radius is more consistent with minimum fairing. So I'm not sure if you can start to see now the curve becomes more of a finished super yacht curve, and a lot of the lines here become more crisp as the fairing starts to take the shape. So all of this is faired. I think they put two levels on it, so maybe we got a couple more levels. But if I turn around, you can start to see how the curves are really starting to take shape, and I'm going to lean out as far as I can get with the camera. Some of the lines are starting to become very crisp. So that process started 2 weeks ago. Basically, this one is 50% done if we've got two levels of fairing on it. And the painters has actually moved onto the aft section, which is not on the boat. It is on the floor, as you know from the last update, but we've started fairing it down there too. So I'll walk down there on my way out, because we've kind of taken up all of the shed now with all of our painted parts down there. So as I walk down the steps, we'll give you hopefully a really good idea of the shape and the lines, and just the shape is just going to be absolutely beautiful. So that's the fairing that started. The insulation has finished. The wire trays are going in. The electricians are on the boat. We'll see. It's very obvious where they've been working once we get there. And also today, Monday the 15th, I brought 4 guys from the factory to start work in the crew area. So over the last 2 weeks, we've been super busy finishing all of the copper pipes underneath the floor. So these are the black water supply, the hot, the cold, and the 4th one, little around the corner, is the dockside hookup that's going to the shore power area. So you can plug the freshwater system in at the dock. So this afternoon, we haven't got the insulation on this yet. This afternoon, we're going to do a nitrogen test on all of the copper piping, and just looking at the welds on the copper piping, I'll be absolutely shocked if there's any leaks. Maybe where we've crimped the ends for the point of the test might, but. And This is the black water piping, which has already got the Rubatex on it. So any of the runs that's been put in Rubatex or the black pipe have already been tested and signed off. So pretty much most of this got done and finished off in the last 2 weeks since the last update as well. Also, you can see from the video it's all white down there, so I was complaining about the red tape with our paint getting stuck in customs, basically because of a chemical that was in it. Vietnam changed their rules while it was underway and banned a certain chemical that was in our paint, so we had to get a license to be able to import it in as paint. So with all of that painted, let me, for the first time, I'm going to try and get down. Excuse me a minute while I climb down another level. This is the forward mechanical space that I was never crying down here, but always pointed to it. It's where all the freshwater equipment is going. So we've got the hot water. Actually, it's a cold water heater. It heats cold water, but it's the hot water tank. We have 4 on this boat. These are the isotherm fast recovery. We got them all wrapped up now, and as soon as the floor goes down, I'll probably be making another update on Friday, because I think this cruise quarters will go in pretty well. And in that video with the floor down, for the video purpose, I'll have the guys unwrap everything. But this will be the configuration. Let me step back a little bit for your freshwater system. So you got head on to jet pump 1, jet pump 2, and these are the high capacity, high pressure headhunter filters. One there, one there. The beautiful piece of jewelry for the manifold that you saw in the factory in Friday's update will sit right on these 2 angles, and they will feed into the one pump will feed into the side, the other pump into the other side, one comes down, feeds into there, and then this is the black water pipe that will feed into the manifold, and this is the deck wash system that also feeds into the manifold. So you can see right now we got a lot of pipe work going in underneath here. So we've got the one heater there. We've got a second, if I turn 180 degrees, we've got another heater there. This is an accumulator tank, which will sit on the lower shelf here. And this one is the grey water headhunter diaphragm pump, which empties this tank right here. And there is a standpipe somewhere, right, if the video can show it, right behind it. So it discharges right out of that standpipe, and the suction is right there. So basically we just plumb that into the pump, and then from the pump to the standpipe. We will put a T in it so you can transfer this tank into the main tank that services the guest areas, back aft, further aft, in case you're in a position where this tank for the crew is full and you're not allowed to empty it. So we'll transfer this tank into the other one. And over here, these shells are for the fresh water, the water makers, sorry. So the reverse osmosis water makers, we've got 2 1,400 gallons a day, I believe. And the standpipe for those is right here to supply it. So that will go in there with the membranes going up above it. So that is the layout, and then this one is our AC bilge pump, which goes all the way to the engine room. Basically, we just go down there and we put a strum box underneath it. So that is your first view of the forward machinery space, which is all starting to take shape. The first step in here is none of these have been attached. I wanted our guys from the factory to attach them. So even though we've pre-drilled all of the grids for the screws that come in underneath, that's what they're going to be doing this afternoon. It's lunchtime here at the moment. That's why the boat's quiet. So this afternoon, these will be going in. A hydraulic pipe arrived on the container, and that will be getting run in the other side. And then with the copper pipe getting tested in this area this afternoon, we should be ready to start getting floorboards down here tomorrow. So let me try and climb back out of that. Oh, I can't wait till the stairs go in down there. That's a lot further down than I thought. All right. So that was the, I'm recovered now. I'm out of the space. We will have a ladder there eventually. So that was the 2 water heaters back there. And under here we got another hatch here in the floor. And another one over here for storage underneath the floor. We've also got the 3rd and the 4th water heaters. So all very accessible. And behind that we've got 2 big accumulators for the whole freshwater system. As you can see, all of the copper pipe, PVC pipe is all in. Even the crew showers, crew sinks, crew toilets. These smaller PVC ones are the air conditioning drains. So this is all pretty much done, and the floor will be going in this week, along with the walls and the ship side, or at least within the next 2 weeks. The guys from the shipyard, the factory, are here for the next 2 weeks. So this whole area will be getting transformed very quickly into cabins. And then once we've got all of the big items in, we've pre-positioned the bulkhead. So basically all we got to do then, once all the big parts are in, hinge this straight up and just weld the seams. And then that area is fully done. I expect that to be done in the next 2 weeks as well. So the floor, these are mainly the walls. The floor was up above. Obviously the floor goes first, but these are the walls, because you can see here is our conduit for light switches that run down the wall. So that is where we are with the crew area. I think by Friday there'll be a big transition to that area. But over the last 2 weeks, there's been a very big transition in this area. I think I left it and we didn't have the cabin side frames on the last time I was in the engine room. I can't go in there because they put the last coat of primer. This is just the primer. And the application of the coats is time sensitive. So we just finished the final primer today. Tuesday morning, the first coat of the finished paint will go on, and then Wednesday morning, the last coats of finished paint will go on in this area. And then the floor is getting painted. They didn't want to put the floor on, the floor framing, because it's easier to get to everything at the moment, but they did paint the floor framing. Since it is bolt together on the floor frame. So even later on, if you need to remove a pipe or add a big pipe, the floor frame is removable, and you got all kinds of access down to the bilge if needed later on. So that is big progress down there. We did get, obviously before the painting, we had to put all of the the bulkhead grid and the side frames on, which meant the wire trays also got put on. This is some of the floor frames, which they're painting at the same time. We got a big area after the boat that I'll show you in a second, where we're painting all of our parts. The generator exhausts are getting heat paint. So this is a slightly different process. These are the bypass exhausts right here for the main engine. So they're getting heat paint, which is a slightly different process. That's why they're getting painted out here as well. But as I'm blocked getting in, you can see where the electricians have started. Because we've now got all of the wire trays. I think, hopefully, I can perch right here. You can see just above this little baggie we got, you can see the wire trays are running. The finished wall sits above it, stops at the wire tray, and then the finished panels start below, and you will always have access to this. We'll put another panel over the top, but you can take that. That will be a much shorter panel that you can take off and be able to run any wires you want at any time. So we've strategically planned all the wire trays. So they have started going at it with the wire right now. We do have an awful lot of wire coming from the guest area where I just was through this bulkhead, but it's sitting just the other side of the bulkhead. So we can't put the wire trays down the center right now, but after Wednesday, so probably Thursday, we'll be able to start putting those wire trays, and we can start running all the wire down through here. So I think I will try to get them by Friday, possibly to start putting the first panels on, because on Saturday I have to head back to the factory again. So they got quite a bit of work. They've got to keep up this pace for this week, because I want you guys to see finally one of the finished panels, and that we're actually got a head start with the wiring. They're getting an awful lot done, and it's probably going to be wired out before we start putting down the major equipment in here, because we do have to put these, it's called Sober Screen. It's a Pyrotech engine room panel. It's glossy white, makes everything look beautiful. So that has to go on before we start putting the big items in. But once this is painted, that is the next item to put on. For the carpenters have to put that on. The shipyard will put that on, while the electricians are still doing all their wiring. So that is big changes down here, big progress. That process will eventually come out into here. Oh. And looking in here, our tubes, you can see just in the distance, our rudder tube is in. Outer tubes for the shaft are also in, and everything is now getting finish welded. So all the fabrication, all the install is done. You can just see they just need to weld it in now. So both of those are in, along with all the outer tubes, which we'll go down there and see that right now. We started to work on the grid for here, and I've also finally got the Beach Club door hinge mechanism and everything to work. Since the plug for the patio door came out exactly how we anticipated, we're going to do the same process for this door. So we've got a recess box to weld in here, which is probably the last major piece of metal work, hot work we still have to do as we work our way off the end of the boat with all of the hot work. So this box is basically, we've got to square this up. Right now this has a radius on it, but obviously because the hinge and the door has to come down at a straight line, and the seam has to be straight, I've got to straighten that up. So we've designed a box that fits in there that holds the shaft. So all of this will have exactly the same look. It's just the door will still have this shape to it, but there'll be a recess then back into a square flat box, which will only sit just above the door. So the look will look exactly the same, but we've achieved the straight line we need for the hinge to work. So that's, as I say, the last major item that they're working on for the hot work. And wander down here. As you can see up here, this is the outer tube. It's all fully aligned. It's welded on the inside. This plate was off before. This is a closing plate. So this was off, so everything is fully welded on the inside. And now we've closed the plate off, and now the welders just have to weld everything on the outside. Sorry. But you can see how big the outer tube is. We actually have an inner tube that goes in there that has a bearing on one end and a bearing on the other. So the only piece of exposed shaft is really from there to the exit tube, which is right there. So from there to there is the only piece of exposed drive shaft under the waterline, because obviously the propeller goes. The propeller, the distance to the shaft can't be more than the diameter of the shaft right here. So at worst, that's going to be 4 inches of shaft there before the propeller starts. So that's another part of the design that actually protects the shaft, the drive line, the shaft. So, all right, as I go down here, this is the framework for the beach club. Now, this is, you can see all of the furring has started on here. It's got the first layer has gone on this side, and they're still putting it on the other side. But just because the block, the module is sitting down here, doesn't mean work is not getting done on it. We got work going on in all kinds of places. These are the soft patches that you saw on the boat last update 2 weeks ago. We've actually put all of the fire blanket and the fire wrapping, the A60, on these. So these are all wrapped up now, ready to go in. The little brackets you see sticking out actually connect to the ceiling panels. So these are all fully insulated, A60 wrapped, ready to bolt in as soon as the engines go. The engines were supposed to arrive today, the 16th. As I say, it's lunchtime now, so I'm expecting them still to arrive. They just came, they're on their way from Ho Chi Minh, so not too far, so they should be here. All of this furniture that you saw, these were getting fabricated. This one was getting welded. Everything is now fully welded out, just ready to go on. So all of these, you can see now how big this is quite big. This is the L shape on the aft section, and that's the other L shape on the aft section. Everything is already fully welded out. The big dining table settee, all fully welded out, ready to go on. These two over here were already welded out, so no real difference over there. They've started on the bar now. This is part of the bar plate, so they're just doing all of the cleanup. And you can see this is the corner stew sink of the bar. And then this will come along. You'll have a refrigerator and a wine cooler, and then this sits right behind one of the starboard side, one of these settees. So this here, let me get you in shot. This here is the bar top in the forward starboard corner. You got a small stew sink. When it comes down here, you'll have a grill here, and then come down, it'll do an L shape, and there'll be a bigger sink here as well. So you got 2 sinks up on the flybridge bar. Let me see if I can recognize any other parts. They're just all random. They have to just clean off where everything's getting welded. So that's what we're doing now. So once everything is cleaned off, ready for the fabricators, that will be the next stage. So all these random parts are just the bar area. And now the engine room floor. We've taken up a whole side. So this is all of the floor that I'm expecting to start getting bolted in Thursday, if we're putting the final coat on. I'm not sure if we've got to leave it 24 hours or not. The painters will let me know. If we do, then it'll probably be Friday by the time this floor goes in. But as I said, everything has already been dry fit, and it's just bolt together. So that will go in pretty quickly. I've just ordered some temporary wood to use so we can protect the paint and walk around the engine room at the proper height. So I'm doubtful that will be in by Friday, but it should be in for sure next week. And then the other side of here, you can see they have started with the fairing on this side, the first layer. So this is what they'll be working on this afternoon, this side. So they got the first little piece on there. So as I say, even though this isn't on the boat, it doesn't stop us working on it. I just wanted to check, see how far around the back they got. Oh, okay, they go all the way up to here from the back. So now they're starting forward here, and then coming around and meeting it in the middle. So again, that will all start taking beautiful curves and straight, crisp lines and consistent radiuses with all the fairing. So that process has started now. So that is where we are, Monday, the 16th. And again, I'll follow up with a video on Friday because I'm expecting a lot more action. And I guess on Friday, you guys will be the judge of that. So bye for now.